you know, everybody seems to be generally in good spirits. I mean, this is not the prettiest picture in the world, but it's progress, and it's progress with cooperation. Of course, the negative aspects. Of course, we have standing right next to us right now, we have people who are not happy with me. This gentleman standing. He's a gentleman standing right next to me at the moment. I think it's important to see. These okay. Okay.
These now they break the shops. They went to go and pack everything from the shops. Okay. There were no notice, not even a day notice.
Okay.
They just came. They asked them to move out. They asked them to move out. They put them like a goat.
No, I'm very pleased we're doing this because let's look
at them like a goat, like they're not human beings.
This man and I sat in the office November last year. His name is Prince.
You can come and see the shop.
And Prince and I sat in November last year and we discussed the possibility that this is now going to happen. That's 4 months ago. So the reality is this is, he had also been given notice, a representative was supposed to come see them last week. And at the end of the day, of course, we have to get to a point where if we are going to develop it, we have to remove it. These are people who don't pay rent, who didn't pay rent.
They do pay rent.
We are paying rent.
They are paying for the right. They are paying to city power. They are paying for the light. We are paying the rent.
The last one we paid.
They quit them like a dog. Even they went to go. The security they involved. They now went to go and break the shop and take everything, the whole computers. Okay. You can go and see it. We show you. Okay. We're waiting for the police people to come and investigate it.
I'm the owner of the building and nobody paid me rent, you know, so if they paid city power, it's actually on an illegal connection as well because technically the city should not give electricity to the non-owners, but somehow they managed to achieve that. That is the money they're talking about that they pay. They pay nobody rent, they pay electricity, and of course in the interest of progress we have to do it.
They're paying rent. If you interview them, they're paying rent.
We are paying rent.
They just treat them like a dog.
But I think the argument is that they're not paying rent to the right person. So what?
He never presents
he's supposed to present to us.
He is the. We don't know him.
We don't know him.
He just came yesterday and said he is the owner.
Okay.
We haven't seen him before.
I think we can ask this man.
We haven't seen him before.
We can ask this man whether he was in my office.
That is hijacking, you know, if you can
we can ask this man if he was in my office 4 months ago and we had a discussion.
You know, yeah, I was in his office on November, ne? He told me that this building, he's negotiating in this building, understand?
He's negotiating.
You understand? And when he got this building, he will start ejecting the people who are staying upstairs, the shop people who doesn't have any problem. I told him, can I sign a new lease for him? He said no, that he don't need any new lease for me until he started to constructing the building, you see.
When the building is on his name.
And as I say, at the moment, my people are busy negotiating with the residents inside because as far as I'm concerned, people who run businesses should pay rent.
Nothing.
And people
no
who
put
people
notice,
are, and people who are indigent
he just put these people like a dog.
Who have nowhere else to go have to be treated somewhat differently.
Nothing. He never treated them in any way. He just hijacked the building and sent them out.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's not right. We are all human beings.
Understand?
You treated them like animals.
We are praying a very bad praying. We are praying a very bad praying. You understand? A very bad praying.
You know, it's a hijacking. You can see the shop. Now they went inside and they break it. After he quit them, they now went inside, they break the whole shops. Come and see the shops. Come and see the shop. They went inside, they break and they packed everything.
We'll be shortly restoring the buildings. It'll take a little longer because we have to work with the council and the roads agency on this, but in due course, not too distant future, I hope, this entire section of Van Brander Street will be pedestrianised, and as we've done before and as we've shown before with Main Street, with Gandhi Square, with Fox Street, this pedestrianisation actually brings new life, it injects new life into these different parts of the city. You've arrived at the time when you can actually see the process in motion. What we're about to witness now is the previous occupiers of this building receiving their cash. Okay? Let's go have a look. I have it.
We want to give
give us 1,000 rand each, and then he said we have to go, and we can take those 1,000. But the problem is, we can't find accommodation with 1,000 rand because now things are too expensive. You see, we can be happy if government can provide us with a place where we can go and stay. You see, because even us, we like to live with other people. We don't like where we are staying, but because of poverty, others of us, they are not working, you see, so that we want government to provide.
Well, you know, where is the substantial market in Johannesburg? The substantial market is the low to middle. Now, when I say low to middle, I'm not talking about people who can only afford to spend 300 or 400 rand a month on rental. I think at that level, things are much more difficult. So where people...
I've got a bit of good news for you in the sense that you know, we will provide you with some money, but the city, not the government, the city is actually working on a plan to provide you with alternative accommodation. You know, so hopefully, I don't promise you anything now because a lot of this is in the hands of the city, you know. But hopefully we got some good news. Let's hope the city comes to the party and then we can work this one out and then we can all live happily ever after.
I think what's happening in the city is that the number of high-income residential buildings is actually quite low. In fact, what's really driving regeneration in the city is not the upper end, it's not the £1 million apartments, because frankly, there are not that many people who can spend £1 million on a flat. And those who do have that kind of money are not necessarily wanting to live in the inner city. Low. What is really driving the inner city at the moment is rental accommodation. A number of developers are buying up old office buildings, old commercial buildings, and are converting them to residential accommodation, which they are renting. There are also some who are selling. There are some who are selling at the sort of 300,000 rand mark.
I think it initially started on the basis of you know, what a wasted space, but I think there was a bit more than that. There were certain overtones. This used to be a European city, a white city, where they had the European flavour, hence the use of the word Europe. But basically it was where white people came to do their shopping. Essentially black people didn't come, they didn't feel comfortable here. This was the days of apartheid. And when South Africa started normalising, and a very unfortunate thing happened. As more black faces appeared on the streets of Johannesburg, people thought this is the end and we got to go seek security in the northern suburbs, and they surrounded themselves with Italian architecture, French architecture, English architecture, excluding Africa from the equation. And I think this was a hugely powerful motivating factor for me to say, let's do something about it, because unfortunately what happened was, by fleeing from the city, they literally abandoned their buildings. And we all know that a vacuum attracts the lowest form of life. So those people who fled for the wrong reasons were able to turn around and say, you see, leave it to the blacks and this is what happens. What a disgrace. So I think the big challenge was to show that that's nonsense, that this can be a wonderful place and a multicultural place. And what is so wonderful about it now, it is true to the demographics of South Africa. It's 80-85% black, 15% white, and that's the proportions of South Africa. Go to Sandton today and you'll see 5-10% black and 90% white. It's not natural. This is a real situation. One can go to Melrose Arch, which is a development in the northern suburbs which pretends to be a downtown setup, but in fact it's fake. It's a movie set. You want to see a real city, this is it, and this is what it's developing as. And from that point of view, I can't think of a bigger motivation to give up a law practice and come and try to revitalize, together with many others, of course, to revitalize the city. You can actually see the before and after right in front of you. I'm showing you the before. I'm also going to show you some after. Okay. Okay, so you judge for yourself. You see if you like this.
What nobody really knows, properly speaking, is what it will be like to live in. Because if you put in over 2,000 people in a place like this, and they're kind of all people like us.
Nightmares about falling or this development going down, as deep as you're going now.
You've asked me that question already before. I already told you that I'm actually not nervous anymore. I told you in 2 days we sold 27% of the building, so I'm very comfortable. Can't you see that? So, ask me another question.